Hey everyone, welcome to F9 Collective, F9 Collective's Toggle. This is September session with Shikha Sharma. Our topic for this month is mental health and freelancing. As you know, everybody, as you know, we have a lot of people who are promoting the hustle culture and everything. But let's face it, it'll be tough on us no matter what, like who we are, no matter where we are from. It's definitely a lot tough on us when it comes to not just freelancing but also employees in studios. So Shikha has been actively campaigning on Instagram for mental health and healthy work culture. She's a former creative director at Post Office Studios, and right now she started her studio just yesterday, if I remember, if I remember correctly. So I'll give the stage to Shika. Go ahead. It's all yours.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start by introducing myself. Is that okay?
Yes, definitely. Go ahead.
Um, so hi, I'm Shikha. I have been in the industry for the past 8 years. I started my journey as a editor actually at one of my uncle's companies. And then I moved to AIB where I learned animation on my own. And after that, I joined Supari and Post Office Studios where I was there for 5 years. Um, and it's been 2 years that I've been freelancing. And yesterday, I started my own company called Postnote Media, which is we write, shoot, and animate. Uh, and yeah, that's about my work life. I also am working on a contract basis with a mental health firm. It's called Reset, and I animate and illustrate for them. And that contract job is 2 days a week, so 8 days a month I work for them. And apart from that, I freelance. So that's my work journey. Uh, and other than that, what I do is I promote a lot of artwork based on mental health because 2 years back when I left Subari and when I left my job and I started freelancing, my mental health got really affected because I got scared in terms of how will I get stable income, how will I get you know job one after the other, will I get or will I not get? And I started developing panic attacks and I also developed depression. So I started promoting, like my outlet became art, basically to, talk about what I was going through. And I also feel like we are in this sort of industry where it is very easy to hide, the mental health issues that we are going through. Because it's such a hustle culture that we are in that it's very easy to hide what you're going through. Um, so basically I got diagnosed, as I said, with panic disorder and depression, and sometimes I experience panic attacks also. And I want to talk about how sometimes it affects, uh, you know, your freelancing uh, job, and sometimes what happens is that one problem that I face is that I say yes to each job that comes along, you know. And I'm sure that all of us as freelancers go through that because we need stable income or we need exposure and you know, uh, we need to build that clientele for ourselves. So one problem that I face is that I say yes to each job that comes along. And I feel when you're going through, something that's mental health related, it's okay to say no also to jobs that are coming along. And if you, I feel like if you struggle with, uh, saying no, which is something that I do. I struggle a lot with saying no, and I take up a lot on my plate, and then I'm very exhausted and I'm very burnt out. And if you struggle with it, I have realized that you can ask yourself some questions that can help you, navigate yourself through that situation. If you've said yes to many projects, or if you want to say yes to many projects, first one is like, is it paid? You know? And if it is paid, then can you afford not taking it? And if it isn't paid, then what are you getting out of it in return? So initially, I wouldn't ask myself such questions. I would take up a lot of work. But what I started doing is I start, asking myself these questions, and then I take up projects, because then I'm able to compartmentalize, my situation better. You know. And I also feel like as freelancers, we have so many things to focus on. We want to feel good. We want a good mindset. We want to make progress also. And at the same time, we don't want to feel burnt out. We want to handle client better. We want to handle our money better. Like as freelancers, I feel like there's so much that you go through in a job. It's okay, like, चल रहा है job, पैसा आ रहा है, if you fall sick, it's okay. But when you're freelancing, there are so many aspects that you need to take care of. So I feel like also one thing that has helped me, that, this is something I had seen in a TED talk, which spoke about that there needs to be a shift in the mindset first. First is that, the first approach that we have as freelancers, or when we are going through a mental health issue, is that when I have the approach kind of a feeling, like it basically talks about that when I have a good job, or when I have a good freelancing gig, only then I'm supposed to feel good. Or when I have a certain kind of money, only then I'm supposed to feel good. And only then my mental health will be better. Like how I was saying, like, we want to make progress all the time as freelancers. But instead of that approach, instead of the approach of only when I make progress am I going to feel happy, I think we need to enjoy the journey of a freelancer and the journey of, getting a project. Instead of feeling like only when I get a project am I going to feel happy, only when I get a certain kind of money I'm going to feel happy. So this is the approach that I have changed in my life, that I'm not dependent on a certain kind of project or a certain kind of exposure or a certain kind of money. Of course, it's good to set goals, and it's good to set, progress for yourself. But at the same time, if we can not depend on it, it's something that I'm trying to change about myself. And what else do I want to talk about? I'm really nervous. I hope I'm making sense. And I also wanted to talk about that sometimes. This is what I've experienced, is that I've already taken a freelance gig, and then my mental health, deteriorates. Like job ले लिया, उसके बाद mental health खराब हो गया, then what are you going to do? In that midst of it, what are you going to do? So one thing I've realized, that I have a good pool of, friends that I've made in this um industry. So I keep backups ready that in case something goes wrong, in case I'm not able to perform because of my bad mental health or because of my panic attack or because of some depressive episode, I can ask for help and it's not wrong. That's something I've realized that asking for help is the best thing that you can do. Uh, and to have backups ready is something that can help you a lot. Uh, and I also wanted to talk about that your mental health can also get affected when you don't have a freelance gig. When you don't have work also, when because that happens a lot in our industry. That sometimes there's a lot of work and sometimes there's no work. And this friend of mine, she was telling me because I'm so high functioning, uh, like I need to have work all the time, and that in turn spirals into bad mental health. That spirals into exhaustion. So this friend of mine, she was telling me that you need to learn how to be bored also sometimes, and it's okay to not have work sometimes. That shouldn't be a reason for us to panic. If we plan our year properly in terms of that these many gigs I'm going to try and take, this much money I'm going to target, and yeah, that it's okay that sometimes if I don't have work, I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to spiral into it. You know. So yeah, these are few things that I wanted to talk about. That yeah, as freelancers, I feel like for me, last 2 years have been very tough in terms of balancing mental health. And I'm going to be very honest here. Like it's not been an easy journey because panic attacks. When you get panic attacks, they are so physical that sitting in front of the laptop for hours and working becomes very tough. Um, but every day changing, some approach, some aspect of, the way you work really helps me a lot. You know. And yeah, I'm open to questions. I'm open to it will be great if we can have a discussion, a proper interaction, session.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Shikha, for sharing. That sounds very, I mean, a lot of times I think we can all relate to it. And I think, getting over that is a huge task on its own. So, Waseeb here has a question. How long did it take you to transition to the mind, to that mindset? Or Waseeb, can you be more clear? Is it possible? If you can, if you can come on screen and ask.
Yeah, yeah. So, hi Shikha, hi everyone. Uh, can you hear me? Am I audible? Okay. So, I understand what you are going through, and I am also a high functioning person. I would like to say like I don't have real friends, like no friends. So most of the time I spend my time in front of a computer. Either if I'm not working, I'll spend my time learning something, watching YouTube, learning some feature or something, doing something. That's the thing. So getting far from the human touch and getting more involved in the work. That's how I cope up with it. But how much time, like for how long did it took for you to get into this mindset that the work is not everything? You have to live, like how hard it is and how easy it is, or like how long did it take?
It's not. It wasn't easy for me because if with freelance, it's not like you don't take a job and it's okay because we all have responsibilities also, right? So changing that mindset and changing that approach took me a lot of time. You know. But when your health gets affected, when your mental health gets affected, then how much ever work you're doing, um, at the end, it doesn't give you joy. It doesn't give you any satisfaction.
Okay.
So something that I realized was that if I'm not healthy mentally, how am I going to, feel that joy of, the work that I'm doing or the future projects that I'm going to get.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
that I keep reminding myself every day that, if mentally I am feeling better, I'll be able to perform better. I'll be faster. I'll be better at my work. Uh, you know, and
Yeah.
we are in a community also. I discuss this with my friends also that animators are introverted people. Like even I struggle with having friends. Even I would prefer sitting in one corner and working on a laptop.
Hmm.
So we are in the same boat that way. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. We
and
all are, I believe so.
yeah. We all are the same. Like we would prefer sitting in one room, in one corner on a laptop, seeing some tutorial or working all the time. But yeah, if you're not feeling better mentally, then how much ever you work, it's not going to give you joy. Like that's something I realized, and that helped me change my approach to, you know,
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
and
So it's more like we end up in this industry because out of passion, because we love to create, we love to animate things, and we are trapped in a rat race, which is led by like advertisers and digital agencies. Of course, we have to survive, we have to work for it, but to stay ahead of everyone and just working, it burns you out. So
exactly,
yeah, uh, like right now, if I can speak for myself, after 10 years, I have been working in an ad agency for past 10 years now. I have also quit, like this is my last month and I'll be starting freelancing work. So I'm also taking a break, mentally break. Okay, I don't need to work so hard. I don't need to work each on everything. There are people dedicate, you can dedicate works to them. Take a break, think about it, what you want to achieve in life, and just take a step towards it every day, a single step towards it, and eventually yeah, you will feel good about it.
yeah. I hope you feel better. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm actually just thinking about it, taking a break and like starting my own thing. It gives me the joy.
yeah,
I feel a little bit more freedom, like okay, I can do something about of my own.
yeah. I also sometimes feel like as freelancers, not every time we can afford to take a break. Like even though our mental health is, you know, just down the drain, not every time we get the opportunity to take a break. So in such situations, what can we do? I think that is something we can discuss as a community.
Yeah, this is a very great thing that we have each others to support everyone. So I think you all guys are my friends, because if I have to talk about something, I reach to Vishal many times. Like Vishal, I need this, I need that. Can you help me out? So Vishal has been helping me a lot. Like I have been having a conversation with him for past month or so. So I'm glad to have people like from the same industry who understand each other. It's a great space to be here.
Oh man, you're making me blush.
No, but you do help, Vishal. You like, I know.
Um, for me personally, I have a lot of FOMO going on. Like my FOMO is next level always. It can never go away. So like, um, when I see awesome work, I'm like, I for me, I need to do that. And then I have like, I currently have two personal projects going simultaneously. One is 2D and one is 3D, and I have no idea how I'm going to complete it. It's mostly because of, I'm like, if I start doing one, it's what am I going to do with the other? It just keeps switching, and basically I don't end up doing anything. So for me, I don't know if that's a huge thing, but that's been the whole FOMO part has been part of me as a freelancer for a long time. And um, I like where you said, you have to learn to say no. And for me, what has helped is, I mean, I'm someone who, once I fail, if I fail once, I'll learn definitely. So I'm someone who learns like that. So I remember back in 2016 or 17, I think, or is it 18? I don't exactly remember which year. I had taken a project, a very low budget project on October, November that time. And at that time, I didn't have any projects for 2, 3 months, and it was kind of that fear was creeping up on me. But I took it up, and what happened was that took a long time to finish, but another better project came along, and I had to say no to it. So if I had said no to this one, I would have been able to say yes to the other one. So the idea was, if that project is something that you're taking out of fear, then for me it's like, no, I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to sit through it. I'm sorry, I have to cut off. Someone's at the door, so I'm just going to go. But you guys continue. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm really sorry.
Hi, Omkar has a questions. Can you forward and ask?
Can somebody read it out because I'm on my
Yeah.
phone?
Hi. I will. Hi, Shikha. Um, First of all, congratulations. I'm looking forward to the music video. It looks really killer, the trailer. So my question was that, so I'm coming from a personal space here a little bit. So this year, for the longest time, I had been deciding to take a vacation, and I've been freelancing for the past 3 to 4 years now. And for the first time, I decided to take a long vacation, and I did it. And while going into the vacation, I was really scared because it was going to be like a month-long thing, and it was also abroad, so I was also spending a lot of money. So my biggest fear going into the vacation was, first of all, I'm going to be abroad, so my phone is not going to be reachable to people. If I ever get any inquiries for any work, I don't know what to do with that. And the second was coming back, and now coming back, my biggest fear was that the work would have dried up, right? So now, whatever's kind of coming my way, I'm coming with this scarcity mindset right now where I'm also saying to project yes, or at least thinking about taking up projects which are way lower than what I usually charge. And I am realizing that it's coming from a scarcity mindset where, but I don't know, like, what do you do in these scenarios when you know that there is a very actual, like a pressing need to sort of get back on your feet, but at the same time, the opportunities that you really want in the bandwidths that you want are not coming in. So you kind of get into this scarcity mindset space. So how do you manage that?
I think I remind myself that first when I started freelancing, I used to take up anything that I would get, you know. And that time there was a lot of gratitude and appreciation for whatever work I was getting. So I think for scarcity mindset, one thing that you can practice or, that really helps is appreciation and gratitude. Because that really helps your mental health also. So that would be my answer to this, that, of course your work is going to grow and it's going to go back to where you were. But at this point, whatever you're getting, if I can have appreciation for that, I'll enjoy my work more and I'll enjoy, what I have. And this is what I keep reminding myself. I keep going back to the prime point, to the first point that when I started, it was whatever work I'm getting, I'm very grateful about. I'm very appreciative. At that time, it's not about, uh, so if we keep going back to the prime point that why did I start this? Why did I get into this? Uh, then, it translates into a lot of appreciation. And then it's not about that it's a lower income job or it's a lower exposure job. It's a job where I need to give my best. So that's how I deal with, such a situation. I hope this answers the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Hey Shikha. So I wanted to hang on. Sorry. I think okay. So I'm sorry I had to jump out early. So I wanted to, you were talking about saying no. I'm sorry if the subject changed. If it doesn't, like, the courage to say no to, a project because it pays less. And the thing is, how do you come about that? For me, it was I learned it the hard way. But the thing is, it's not going to be that. I was lucky enough to be at home when that happened. So I mean, I didn't really have to pay many bills that time. So, but when it comes to a lot of freelancers or people who start their own studios, they are probably, they have a lot of bills to pay. They have rents, electricity bill, and all that. So how do you, how do you eventually jump to the, okay, I'm not going to take this project because it doesn't get me paid. So is that some sort of a mindset that you cultivate, or is it something that, you make a blind leap? I mean, I don't know if the question is.
It's absolutely fine. I'm just thinking because there was this one project that I got some months back, which was for a very big artist, like really big artist. And I got too excited because I was like, wow, amazing exposure, amazing, the thing that I said in the beginning that, when you have to say no, you can ask yourself some questions, which was, is it paid? If it is paid, then can you afford not taking it? If it isn't paid, then what are you getting out of it in return? So this artist came to me and I got really excited. I was like, biggest project of my life and, I'm going to be very excited about it. But turned out the product that he wanted out of me wasn't great. The output that he wanted out of me wasn't great. And I felt like I'm not going to do justice to it. So I was very skeptical that, should I say no to such a big artist, that has come to me. But I think I stood by my ethics of, that I want to do good work and I want to do, I want to protect my mental peace at the same time. And it wasn't paying me that way. So I chose, myself over that exposure bit or that FOMO bit that you were talking about. That if I don't take this, it's going to lead to something or somebody else might get it. So yeah, I think it's something that you cultivate. It's not something that is, just I also feel it changes also with project to project. Sometimes you are too tempted and you have to pay rent and you have to have responsibilities and you have to take it out. But at the same time, if you can be smart about it and be like, there are now what I've started doing is I started hiring people for projects. So where if I try to take 2-3 projects at a time where I'm overseeing a project. and I'm not executing all the time. So that's also something that I've started doing. But this is a very good question. I think if somebody else also can add to it, because even I go through it.
So I just have one. Hi everyone. Hi Shikha. I just have a little direction to this question. Like now as a freelancer, you go through that and you can say no to it. But I am actually working as an employee at an agency, and the environment over there is really like Wolf of Wall Street. Everyone is like high pitch, and things are going really fast. They have heavy deadlines and stuff like that. And then you have to work with a lot of people who are not sometimes compatible and things like that. The friction happens and all of that. And throughout that, you have to also give a really nice output, like really clean looking output. So in terms of that, you can't say no over there, because yeah, there is a job, and then they can fire you anytime. All of that happens. And on top of it, I have ADHD, so it really helps me a lot to go through that stress level. But now, I mean, I have figured out a way which is like working out, like have a contrast in life. Like if you are going through something bad in office, then go home and like make it up for it by working out, by doing something else, by watching boxing and stuff like that. But my question is like, if something like that happens where you have already signed up for a work and you have to deliver somehow, so how do you try to work around a system where you have to, even if you don't have to put your emotions in the work, but the output will be still better. So you have to like work around a system ki, "ठीक है, I have made this QC, this quality check has been done, now I have to just do this." So how do you make up your mind for that how do you what is the motivational point for you to just go for that part and finish the work?
Hmm, hmm, hmm. I'm thinking.
I hope I'm clear.
Because even I go through this. It's something that even I go through and I struggle with.
Mhm.
Does somebody else want to add to this? Like, till I think.
Yeah, everyone, we would love it if everyone would come forward. This is not just Shika speaking. Like, we want everyone to share their experiences.
Yeah.
Okay, I think you can move forward if there's.
Anything like Vishal, you want to answer?
Rishabh has raised his hand, so Rishabh, you can come forward actually.
Hello,
Yeah. Hi, Rishabh.
can you see me?
Yep.
I'm sorry, like this is not related to the question right now, but just something about the last thing you were talking about, where we were talking about like saying no to jobs. I think one thing that helps me is like if it's a situation where I don't want to take up something, but I know that there might be someone else whom I could recommend who could be doing that job. So sometimes that also takes the pressure off, where it's not that I'm rejecting a job completely and I'm losing on something, but I'm in my mind I'm also helping someone else. So sometimes I think that also takes the pressure off, where I don't know if it'll work for everyone, but I think it just helps me, uh, just knowing that okay, you are helping someone out in the process.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that is an awesome. Okay, Vasibus, yeah, go ahead, Vasib. I think you can just come forward because not many
Okay.
people are speaking.
Okay. So, what I have understood till now is every one of us, each one of us has a unique capability as a motion designer. Some are into good at character animation, some are good at geometric design and everything. So instead of saying yes to each and every job, what we can do is we can ask each other for help. See, that's how the community works. We are not good at everything. We are good at something. So let's be good at one thing and take help of each other. For example, if I have a job which I know I'm a little bit skeptical about it, I don't know how to do it, I can forward it to someone I know. It will be helpful for that person also to earn some money because he's best at it. At the same time, I'm getting the rid of the burden from my head. Okay, I know that person can handle that. So that will help each other as a community also, and at the same time it will keep our mental health at a stable level where we are not like taking working stress out or doing that kind of work. I'm just speaking out of my mind. I don't know if you guys agree or not, so you can like tell me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the point, man. Like, you have to find that one thing which you are specialized into and then go through that. Uh, yeah, I mean, I am going through that same thing, honestly. Like, when this agency hired me, they were like, "Hey, I'm actually graphic designer first, and then I got into motion." So
Correct.
the job placement was that you're going to do graphic design and motion design, but now I'm here doing video editing. So and I'm getting stressed for that. So I don't even know that skill. So I'm like learning in that, and job an agency just like pressurize you to do some more things to just deliver the good work. So that those are the things about the job I feel like which puts you down, which kills the motivation, which kills the energy of doing any kind of work. That's why I think most of the animators and stuff like that are like into freelancing because they have this freedom of actually doing something of your own. I mean, there are going to be stress and things like that which going to come with it, but it's all under you. I mean, you are the center of mandala in that.
Yeah, you have the choice to work on what you like eventually when you finish the renders, when you see the renders, you will feel proud about it rather than just figuring out how does the software works, how to edit in Premiere, how to apply this effects. मतलब I know sometimes it will be कि इससे better तो मैं After Effects में कर लूँगा. It happens with us, all of us. So yeah, I think the FOMO, what we are talking about, and even to answer your question, Omkar, as you're going on a trip, you have earned that trip. Okay, you have earned that vacation. So I think you should take that vacation. It's okay to let go of some of the jobs because when you will be back from the trip, you will be energized with a complete new mindset, with all the new things that you have seen and learned out there, and you will apply that in your work. So don't don't feel FOMO about it. Okay, okay, you're going to miss out on the opportunities. There are many more opportunities coming in front in the future. So just stay positive about it.
I just that's a great point, Maseed. I also just want to, Rama, I'll get to you. I just want to add a point to that. Some of the best studios on the planet, Ordinary Folk, Buck Studio, and all that, and I'm sure Rishabh knows this personally. Rishabh Gandhi, he may know this personally. Like, what they do is they take a project and they give small parts specifically to the person who they know is capable of executing that very well. So, if they're hiring freelancers, they hire like 20 or something and they give like 2 seconds to this person. And, you got like 5 days to finish it. And I've seen few studios do that. I mean, what I'm saying is probably the extreme end maybe. But they give that amount of time so that we are not pressurized to complete the whole thing at it's more like quantity over quality. They'll give you the time to work 8 hours a day just to finish that 5 seconds, and you can comfortably work in that, and all you need to do is give them on an update every day how much you've done it. So most of the big studios work that way, and honestly that reflects on their work, because if you check out their work, like for example Ordinary Folk, you'll see like they have a lot of people working on maybe a 1 or 2 minute video, and if you check out their credits, it's like a huge list is there, and the videos are like they're pushing the boundaries. So just want to say that that is the mindset that that actually gets work done, gets quality work done. Next, Rama, you go ahead. Sorry to keep you waiting. Yeah, go ahead.
No worries, no worries. So, yeah, first of all, hi Shikha, big fan. And yeah, I had some insights on Ninad's question. So, even I have been in some situations where I'm feeling the same thing that, okay, I don't want to do this work. I also know that if I have to do it, it's going to be quite tedious and I won't like the output. So in that case, what I've tried is I have made a strong case for myself. So one of the things is, why do you not like the work which you're doing, or which the company has given you? So one of the reasons might be that maybe it's not that important, or the second reason can be that you don't like the style or the type of the work which you're doing. As you said, you're a graphic, then motion, and now a video editor. So that can be true, but sometimes the case is also there that they give projects as in I interpreted it that time that, is it like I don't have any other work, that's why you're giving me this just to keep me occupied? That kind of feeling wherein you can't really speak up, but you are getting that feeling, but you have to do the work, and that's the jumble. So yeah, so in that case, what I thought was, I made a case for myself. I understood what the project is going to do in return. Okay, so let's suppose say I make the entire thing, I go through 2 weeks of hard work and create it. After that, what are these guys aiming to get out of it? So if you can think about it that way, that and then you can make them realize that, okay, this much of effort is not really necessary for this type of output. If you can pitch it to them that way, even they'll understand. Maybe they don't know, so that can be the case also. And in that case, I have got this. So what happened was, I did the same thing, and these guys then understood that, okay, I am capable of thinking this way. So it's not going to be the case where you just hand me over something and I just say yes. So after that, things started to change a bit, but and it went positive actually. So this was a part learning on my part, that okay, I had been doing this wrong till now. They were fine on their end. They were giving work. It's just I had to help them on my part, because eventually I'm going to be doing the groundwork. So you can try that. If the work is not that important, then you can try thinking of a lesser tedious solution, or finding some other solutions, or asking if we can use some existing video elements, or get some Envato elements subscription and stuff, just to make your time just to save your time basically, and still get the same output. So that's one way, because I get it that sometimes the situations are not wherein you can speak up and say that, okay, I'm not going to do this. You have to do it some way. Then you find some jugaad. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
Very well
I
said.
also is sorry, you continue.
No. I was just agreeing to that. Please continue.
No, sometimes what I also do is that if I'm not happy with the project that I'm doing, and if I'm not satisfied at that moment because I'm too burnt out or too stressed out, I take out time to do something else that I love. That also helps your mental health a lot. So for me, making illustrations around mental health and doing personal work sometimes really helps me to compensate for, the other job that I'm doing. So maybe that can help. Like what can be an alternative to, what I'm feeling and what I'm going through.
Yes, that completely makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I have the music thing parallel for which I live, so that really helps me to calm. Actually, it is motivation factor. Like music really helps me to do something. Like I think even for you, maybe you listen to music and then you start creating storyboards. The imagination and the curiosity just kicks in, and the energy just starts cultivating, and then you can just start with that motivation and use that as a fuel and go through, and then things like that. But yeah, fair noted point.
Hey guys, so I just went through the chat, and Prashant has a question. If he's here, Prashant, if you want to come forward and ask. Okay, I think I'll ask for you. How do you ask for the hike in the charges for ongoing projects? As sometimes some projects requires more amount of work than in than the expected before the project starts? Like, how do you, if when you're doing a project, and you end up doing a lot more work than initially thought. So how do you reach out to them? And basically, I think what he's trying to ask is like, does it does it show us in a bad light? Like, how do you reach out to them to ask, like, okay, this the scope of this project is beyond what we initially discussed. So, as a freelancer, we would love to hear your opinion and, like, your strategy on it. I know it's a
I
little
think
off topic. Sorry.
always puts you in a bad light. Like you're asking for what you deserve and you know what is needed. I don't think it shows you in a bad light at all. So I think having confidence in your work and in yourself, you know, is the key here, I think. You know. And yeah, I'm very shameless when it comes to asking for the money that I need. I'm very shameless because um, I think that's what I deserve, right? Like, why should I not ask for what I deserve? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's very for me personally, that's very difficult to do. Next, I think Rishabh has something to ask you. Rishabh, come forward.
Yeah.
Recently like switched, like left my job and came into the full-time freelance. Though it's like not much, very like not many years me into the industry. It's like hardly like 3 to 4 years right now. I started as a graphic designer, and then like with the years I like leveled up every year, and here like I'm almost in like 2 years with the motion design right now, right? And like when I was initially like started with like a proper like part-time job that was along with my college, it was a tech company, right? So even I had a chat with Vishal and Amin on this. So we got to come to a conclusion, like a tech company can have a like a bandwidth, like they don't want more than a certain level, right? Like they have one template thing ready, and we have to create same thing for other videos and stuff. Then I thought to like switch to some of a like a creative studio or an agency kind of setup. So I did that, almost like worked out for almost a year there. But like some of the projects are like as per the like the job thing that we need some more time or we need some flexibility, but the deadline and how does the structure looks like is not much available, right? But it is basically it pays well, right? Because we get our like bills and everything is sorted. But when I took the chance for coming into the freelance, because technically I started with the freelance from the starting of my college, right? So it feels a freedom there. And the moment I left the job, I felt that back again within me. Like I love to have the negotiations call. I love to, like, I really wanted to be in the journey of feeling the anxiety, like whether the client will say yes to our quoted budget or not, right? Like as if even if we say like an X amount for some project, and if the client says directly yes in the first go, we are spectacle on our own thought, like should we have quoted it more or we quoted it less, right? But sometimes it also feels like there's a fear, like what if we quote much higher than the project, right? And we might lose an opportunity, or how to make ourselves a sustainable freelancer within the industry, right? So, any thoughts on that? Like, how to make that sustainable, and what do we technically do with our mental thoughts?
These are very tough questions, guys. I wasn't ready for this. Uh,
Hey, Shika, it's fine. Like, if whatever you feel like, from your experience, you're more than welcome to share, because we're all completely newbies here. Um, we're all struggling with our freelance careers. I think even if you're if you can call yourself self successful, I think we're all still trying to find the balance between freelancing or running a studio or your career versus life. So it's kind of like we're all, if we, I think, like the more we share about this, the more we talk about this, the more we'll be helping each other out. So it's totally fine. Like also anyone who's got a very good view on it, you can come forward as well. It's basically all our opinions, and everyone's free to share.
Hey, hello. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just noted one point that the person said was that how I think he was talking about pricing. Some like if you have like this anxiety about quoting a rate that you think that the client can go away because of a very high quotation. So I was in a situation. I mean, I'm sure we all have been in a situation like that. But I just recalled that I had one client that I had worked like maybe 8, 10 times, and I was charging them like let's say 10 times less than what my final quotation was on the last project. So I had a lot of anxiety while going for it. But if I had to summarize it, it will be if you don't ask for it, the answer is always no. But to my surprise, he went for it because I think he had that trust in me. Because I had some leverage where I had worked on like 8, 10 projects prior that. So you need some leverage as well. I'm not saying go blindly on that, but yeah, the answer is always no if you don't ask.
Yeah, and I also feel like this is something that I do. I always go with a little higher quotation, and then I'm like, in my head I have a quotation that, then the client matches that.
Mhm.
That's something I do.
I would like to add to that pricing thing. It's if you guys have seen how production house works, like for shoot and everything, uh, what they do is they document all the scope of work in a mail or a PDF format, which they share before starting the job to the client, and they get approval on that. So in 7 days, we will be delivering you this, and it will take this much amount to finish this job and this much artist and everything. So it's a like a documented thing which clients approves on. If anything goes beyond that, it will be additional. These are terms and conditions which clients has to approve before starting the job. So most of the time, what happens, we get an inquiry, we have a conversation, and we immediately start imagining, okay, we can do this, we can do that, we can do. So as a freelancer, I think as an artist, we need to take a step back. We need to think as a business, and okay, it will take this much amount of time out of my life, and I have to like do this, do that. Document it in a document, share the document with the client with so and so cost, so and so days, and get an approval on it over the mail. So when the client asks for something addition to that, you can ask, okay, okay, this is an extra work, you have to pay me so and so amount extra for that. I think that's the best way where they can't also deny to it, okay, because they have approved on the work of scope. If anything is, for example, it was very simple example. You're creating a landscape video and they ask you Instagram reel pe dalna hai, adapt it into a vertical format. It is going to take a hectic amount of time to adapt it into a vertical format. There's going to be an adaptation charge for it. You can add to that document later.
Company itself has a low budget thing, right? Like they don't have those like budgets and like they are even like probably like it depends on the client as well. I'm not saying every client does it this way, right? But sometimes like if like a business is getting just started up, right? They don't want to spend like directly a lakh or 2 lakh directly into the like upfront cost as their business marketing stuff, but they will prefer to have it for 20,000 or 50,000, let's say, right? But technically we can't give those materials, right? Like we our rates technically won't match, and the quality that they need are not equivalent to what they are paying us, right? So
I
it that
think
becomes a
uh,
conflict.
no, I think once in a while it's good. It's okay. For the first time you're working with a person and you know, okay, there are not parameters set right now. You are just understanding the brief. You're just learning, working with the person for the first time. But if that person is doing that again and again, he's probably taking an advantage of you because he knows you won't ask much. You will work for 15,000 only. You will work for 25,000 only. So that's where, like, that was a good point. Where if you don't ask for it, you won't get it. So first, you have to document it. What are you going to deliver? And then, if there's an addition to it, you have to ask for it. You guys should watch like Chris do videos, the future. He explains it very well for artists, like how you can charge it. It's on the value. It's not the time game. It's the value game. So,
But as you mentioned about Chris Jew, I really like I'm inspired with him. Like
mhm.
so he also again mentioned that there are two kinds of pricing, right? One is the project base and second is the value base. But value is seen by the person, like, but how we should bring it up on the table, that's something that we need to skill up, right? Because what we are creating is like, in my opinion, I think it's a valuable thing, but the client should also see the value in it. That's when it's valuable for them, right? And if we like charge double or triple for what we generally charge, then it
Mm.
justifies, right? Because most of the times it happens like I heard it from many of the people, like if you can justify this quote to this much of work, I'm happy to pay, right? So like if we are going into that justification game, I don't think that client sustains in a long way, because he's asking everything, right? Like that's what I'm understanding as of like how many, like with the people I've worked so far. I might be
Mm.
wrong, like because every client is different from other, right? But this is what I've heard from some of the people. Like if you can justify this, we are happy to work. But how to justify that?
Justification of an art is very subjective. That
Yeah.
topic is very subjective. But what you can do, what I do, is basically break down into process like storyboarding and then animation. These are the pre-production and production process. You have to take approval on coding, then pre-production on everything. So whenever clients want any changes, you just go back to the previous step. You have approved this,
Hmm.
hence we are working forward. So there is
Guys,
no.
yeah. So
Yeah, Vishnu.
sorry. So we are going a little off topic. So just wanted to bring it back to our topic, because if we start discussing this, there is a lot more to talk about. So let's just come back to bringing up our mental health and freelancing. I mean, balancing our mental health and freelancing. Shika, are you there? Um,
Yes.
yeah, okay. So I wanted to actually bring forward Rishabh Gandhi, because he has first-hand experience working with Buck. He's been a intern at Buck Studio, and he has a lot of insights on how how they work, and how he's been sharing how they treat individual employees amongst themselves, and in their studios. So he's been sharing that on the chat. So I just want to bring him forward so he can share it on live. So I'm not sure if the chat will always be readable. So Rishabh, can you come forward and share your experience with respect to how Buck performs and treats you as a intern or employee? Because I think we had this conversation earlier,
Yeah.
and I was literally blown away by how you said Buck functions as a company.
Yeah, so I think like one thing that I felt, which because of which like even a lot of my friends who are working in the industry right now in India, not necessarily motion design but design in general, they don't feel that great while working in the offices, is the way they are treated in the office and the way the co-workers also treat them. So what I've, again, like this is very specific to a few studios, so it might not apply to everyone. But in India, there's a lot of like internal competition where everything is very individualistic, where everyone wants to do one thing more than the other person. So I'm not talking about healthy competition, but a rat race of sorts where you just want to outperform this other person so that you get a promotion, or you always want to just show ki, yeah, okay, I'm doing more work than you. And there's always this sort of a, okay, so if there is one person who knows something, there's a lot of gatekeeping happening in studios itself. So I think that is one part of things that I've noticed from my friends working. And the second part is where it's, because again, so this is more specific to graphic design studios where motion designers are working, where because it's like the motion designers are in-house, there are probably just say one or two motion designers or maximum three design motion designers on the team, and all the workload is put on them, and chances are there's only one senior motion designer and the other two are junior, and timelines are really short. So a lot of load is put on them, and obviously because they are really new, they can't be expected to pull off the work of a senior motion designer. But they are made to feel that way. They are made to feel like, okay, they are not good enough. They don't know how to do their job. And it's said very vocally. Again, I'm basing this off of very few studios, so it might not be a generic thing. But I think that there's also a way to communicate when things are not working. And I think that is one major thing that I think I've learned from Buck, where every time they have to give feedback, they'll never go like, okay, this is not working, or okay, this doesn't look good at all. They'll always start with, okay, this looks great, but we could try this. So I think that is one thing. And secondly, just in general, the way that employees treat each other, it's a like super healthy environment. Like everyone is very open with sharing knowledge. And then when it comes to overworking, where the timelines are short, because like even for large companies, there are projects where you only have say like a few days to pull it off. So when that happens, like when they ask you to work more, they'll never phrase it in a way where it makes you feel like, okay, they are ordering you to do something. They'll always be like, hey Rishabh, this project has come up, we understand that it's the weekend, and we're really sorry that you'll have to do this, but if possible, could you like they're very accommodating that way, and they'll pay you more. So whatever your hourly rate is, they pay you 1.5 times that if you're overworking, so per hour. So if my hourly rate is $20, they'll pay me $30 per hour. That is one motivation that they're giving. And then if I'm working weekends, then they'll also give me like a $50-$60 like free Uber Eats coupon, so I can just order lunch or dinner or whatever. So it's a very healthy environment that way, both in terms of, and you always feel like you're growing as an individual, where people are not putting you down. Like if you're screwing up, there's always someone to firstly there's someone who can fix all your screw ups, because there are a lot of seniors over there. So if you screw up, they can fix it for you. And secondly, they'll teach you how to fix it. They'll not just give you uh, stuff like, okay, this is not working, fix this somehow. They'll first address it, that okay, this is not working. They'll explain it to me why it is not working, and then they'll tell me what to do to make it work. So it never feels like, okay, I'm stuck and really anxious, because they create an environment where I always know what to do next. And I don't feel like, okay, I'm being blamed for something. I feel like, okay, I'm learning something. So in that way, the environment is really good. They keep having picnics, they keep having like pizza parties and stuff. So overall, it's a very healthy environment. So with Bug, there are like more issues as well, which I think are very different from the issues that we are talking about right now. But yeah, all studios have issues, but Buck has managed to uh, not have these issues.
That's wonderful, actually.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go
But
ahead.
I feel like as a freelancer, like working in isolation also affects your mental health a lot.
True.
You know, so, like, does anyone have any insights on that? How to deal with isolation?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Because I deal with that a lot. Like, I miss going to office. I miss having people around. I miss having, you know.
yeah.
I was about to
I
ask the
think
question to you, actually.
Sorry.
I was about to ask the question to you because I've been working as a freelancer for past 2 3 years, and recently I moved to a full-time job. Just because of the lack of people in our life. So and the collaboration was.
Yeah, I would like to add some point on that. So I've been doing freelancing for 5 plus years alone. So what I usually do is go out to cafes and meet new people. That's how I got to meet Vishal, and we started this collective.
Very
That's how
nice.
I got to meet other people, like other verticals. Some people are doing web design, and these people are, coming to cafes as well. That's how I got to meet with them. They designed the Extra Collective website. So it's like you just have to go out and sit somewhere, buy a coffee or something like that. Just have to, go out and it's like I know it will be not easier for the ones who are starting,
Yeah,
but eventually
I'm,
you have to uh, go out to socialize. So that how
Yeah.
you
yeah, that's the
got
difficult
new
part.
meet new people
That's the
because
difficult. Yeah, because
yeah.
especially in
Yeah,
Totally
India,
understand.
yeah.
yeah, I would like
Mm.
to add. You guys saw the new website we have, right? So that is designed by Jitin Kumar. He's another friend that we met on a cafe. Both Amin and I met on a cafe, and he's one like an amazing designer that we got to know. And all three of us with another friend, another two guy freelancers, we had taken an office 2 years back. So that's how like we try to cultivate that studio environment, I mean office environment, without all the this thing. But it's something that has helped. But then but then COVID came, and then all that turned.
Yeah. At the same time, you don't need. I was going to say like you don't need to expect the same motion designer or animator will come and sit next to you. That throw that expectation away, so that you have to meet new people from other verticals as well. So you'll be get more insights about what other things are going in the world. So I would say, yeah, uh, make friends with other verticals as well rather than motion design.
Yeah, I tried going out and work. Then what happened is I spent all day talking to a friend, like not end up working at all. So that's
Working. Yeah. Also, you have to draw a line where you cross the work that you're doing. So we have a group, WhatsApp group like in Kochi. So these people are from all over the place. Like they do marketing, they do web design. So we what we do every morning is we'll put a message that we're saying like we'll be at this cafe. You know, if anyone want to join, they can join. You know, so I used to put this message in WhatsApp. Hey, I'm going to Starbucks. If you guys are coming, you know, just putting it there. So yeah,
Nowadays, it's just a question where. I mean, I moved to Bangalore, but
yeah,
I'm there in the group, and I can just see these guys, but where? And then the reply is like they don't even say Starbucks; they just put a star emoji, and that's the So I mean, so I was just saying, that's how you can create that positive environment of people who support each other at work. Um, I mean, I think we can. There are two people who has raised their hands, Rishabh and Prashant. Prashant, I think you can go first.
So actually, I want to add to the Amin's point. Like, if you can't like communicate to the people physically, like by sitting at home, and you want someone to work with. So what I used to do in the starting of my career, like I used to join the virtual communities where they join on the online calls and work together. So that also helped me a lot. And luckily, I got to join the community where all the artists were there. So I got to learn from them also. So that also helped me a lot.
Awesome, man. Rishabh, go ahead.
I think similar to what Prashant also said. So I think a lot of freelance projects that I've done have been with Raz. So like Raz is also a friend of mine. He's a 2D animator, and he was also with me at Buck. So like when like I've noticed the difference. Like when I'm working with a friend, the process is much more easier because it feels like you're not in it alone. Like, even if you are confused or stuck or whatever in the creative process or just in general, it's nice to have a friend who's with you in the same position so that you can talk about. So basically, you have someone who can relate to what you're talking about because they're literally in the same position. And plus, so he's a 2D animator. I don't know how to do 2D animation. So when it comes to like actual projects, he brings in that, like that is his strong suit. So that is where he contributes. And I'm more familiar and comfortable with 2D and 3D design and animation. So that is where I can contribute. So in the end, whatever thing that we make is, greater than the sum of parts. So I think finding someone who also does things similar to you but a bit different, so that when both of you work together, you can make something which you couldn't make alone. So I think that has helped me working with Raz.
Right.
Awesome.
I
Like you guys have started R Square, I think 3 years back, right?
Yeah, so when we were in our like second or third year of college, and then we were like, you know what, like you like animation, I like design. I don't know how to animate, you don't know how to design, so let's just start working together. And then it worked out for us. And if you look at our portfolio, a lot of our projects are like the same because like he has also worked on it and I have also worked on it. So it just, the process becomes easier. And even for like getting new clients, if he gets a new client, then he tells them about me and then R Square. And if I get a client, I tell them about Raz and then R Square. So everyone that I know knows R Square and Raz. Everyone that Raz knows R Square and Raz. So it's like we are like just promoting each other and our thing to whoever we come across. So I think that also um, helps us.
Mhm.
That's
That's
right.
true. So, guys, I just want to share something first. Just something like if you have, this uh, meeting is being recorded. So, if you have anything that you don't want put up on YouTube later, just let me know. Let me or Rishabh or Amin know. We'll just edit that part out. So, just want to put that in there before we continue. So, next, I think Aditya has raised his hand, and or let me just check the queue. Yeah, Aditya, you go ahead, and then after that, Chaitanya. I think can't hear you. You are unmuted, so. All right, Chaitanya, why don't you go ahead and we'll wait on Aditya, and
Yes,
we'll go to.
hi. Okay. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Wonderful. First of all, hello everyone. Rishabh, Vishal, everyone. Shikha, hello and congratulations on the upcoming and video and Ghost Productions. First of all, really wonderful work, like I put up story yesterday as well. Vishal, if we have enough time, I have another question which I want to ask Shikha and almost everybody on the panel. Do we
Yeah, go
have?
ahead.
Yeah.
We'll wind up. I think we'll wind up in after yours. And I saw your hand raised as well. Do you want to? Okay, after Chaitanya's, Ajit's end, I have one question from our end because Kruti had she wasn't able to attend this, but she had left us some questions, and we couldn't. I think most of it was answered. While you were introducing yourself and by others asking. I just have one that's from there, and then we'll wind up. So Chaitanya, go ahead.
Yeah. My question is to almost every freelancer on the panel right now. there are times when we do not have enough or any work at that time, and we are not in the state of picking up any personal project and creating something of our own, so even just to put it on social media or to improve our portfolio. That is very depressing, not the right word, but some sort of a it's a creative block sort of a period, which I feel happens with not just with freelancers, but almost every artist out there, be it a job professional or freelancer as well. Uh, as a motion designer's perspective, I want to ask all the freelancers here, how do you get out of that creative block? Is it something that looking at Pinterest and Behance and all these portfolios, people's portfolios and work that they have done, does it help you? Because from my personal experience, I've seen this happen a couple of times. Where when I'm having facing a creative block and I am not able to get in my zone again, I look at people's Behance and then try to break it down. Okay, what must be the process and what must have happened there. Uh, I face this issue sometimes where I'm not able to break it down, but then I start feeling a little like a loser at that time. So, is it something that happens with you, or if it is happening, how do you deal with that on a very generic basis?
It definitely happens with me, and a lot of times. I think one thing that I do is that I allow myself to fail. I allow myself to fall also.
Yeah,
Like I
wonderfully
allow
said.
myself to make mistakes.
Yeah.
I don't stop the process of creating. That is one thing that helps me with my creative flow. So a lot of times I've failed also, I've not performed well. But at least I have continued that process of working. And that helps me come out of it, eventually. So I think
Majorly, sorry.
no, I just feel it's important to fail also sometimes. Like not always are we going to give our best or be able
Yes.
to give our best, especially when we are going through a mental health crisis.
I have very interesting things to say about creative block. So hi, I am Arjun. I am an outcast over here. Like I am an aspiring motion designer. I am an architect, computational designer, author, and I teach in an architecture college. So I have been posting art every day for like over 850 days, and most of my work is not very good. So creative block is a myth, and I can go on and on. I think I can speak for like a lot of time, but I don't want to take too much time. The thing to overcome creative block, the best thing is whatever ideas you have in your mind, whatever it is, just put them out there. Just draw, because no one is, see, it's like you have too much pressure on yourself. And if you imagine, just like you are a creative professional and you are not able to create, but if you see like a carpenter does not have a carpenter's block, a plumber does not have a plumber's block, a journalist does not have a journalist block. Like if a journalist will say, sir, I have a writer's block, I cannot cover this report of like price rise of or a flood news report, the journalist will be, the editor will say, okay, you have writer's block, okay, bye bye, I won't give work to you. So the creative block is like it's all an illusion, I would say, because it's like if you're putting a bar of achievement too high, that okay, whatever work I will do, the work on Behance or work on Pinterest, it has to come out that quality, otherwise I won't even work on that. To overcome creative block is like, if you are not able to perform that good in that mental state, you make 10 bad designs, 10 bad animations, or 10 bad artworks. Because when you go into that flow, okay, now things are moving forward, okay, I can do this, do this, do this, your mind begins to in a state of motion. Because creative block is like you are in a state of stagnancy. You are not able to think through, you are just looking at the blank canvas or looking at the blank screen. So it's just about putting work and just doing a bad work, because you're not going to post it, you are only seeing your bad work and you're self criticizing the thing that okay, this is not good, this is not good, so you can just work on whatever it is. So I remember while posting art every day, there have been many moments where I return because I reach home late, and I do not work in a motion design job, so it's very hard to stay creative every single day, and often my emotions or I'm not feeling very good. So in I remember one incident where I just wrote, I do not know what I want to create today, and I just extruded the text. I literally wrote, I do not know what to create, extruded the text and just animated that. That was my daily artwork for that day. So yeah, that's the thing. It's creative block is it's a lie. Like if you believe creative block exists, you will get affected by it. But if you feel that okay, creative block is a myth and it's just a state of mind, you can overcome by just working, just writing, or just trying out wild ideas. It's like even if you try something that is not your style, you can still get your creative juices flowing because okay, you are thinking, let's say you work in a very minimalist kind of way. If you just throw things a lot around in a totally disorganized way, things ideas can keep on flowing, because we often think that we are going to get creative, we are only going to create work if we feel creative. But it's often like if you start making things, just drawing and putting things on the paper, on the screen, you can overcome creative block. I hope that was not too much.
No, not at all. That was wonderful.
Yeah, I agree with what Arjun
Yeah.
saying.
Sorry. Continue.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I think definitely interesting way of putting it. Creative block. I whenever someone talks about creative block, I remember there was an episode on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I don't know if anyone watches that, where the Jake goes through this some sort of a swamp or something, a slug or something, and you know, and then but at the same time, his friend Charles just doesn't go through that because he keeps grinding at it. I feel like sometimes grinding at it is a good deal, but at the same time sometimes you do need a break from it all, because it works differently for different people, because there are people who keep churning out, and by the end of the day, like, you should be happy that you enjoyed that. You should be able to enjoy the process of creating something. So, and if you don't enjoy it, then what's the point of it all? Like, even if it's bad work, you should be able to enjoy what you're doing. So I just want to put that out there. So yeah, Shika or Ajit, like whoever, please come forward.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I just wanna acknowledge what Rishabh said earlier about work culture and bug. Yeah, when something is not going right, um, the acknowledging the work that you have done is very important. Like, yeah, you did a good work, and then we can then like add if you can do like this, that would be like little more interesting. Um, so initially the acknowledging the work that you have done is for me it's very important. Otherwise, you will lose motivation to work on it and make it better. So I just wanna like put it forward. Yeah.
awesome,
I
man.
also like breaking down into like manageable parts, your project, like just making a process out of it or making it like manageable also helps in breaking through a creative block. Like, instead of being overwhelmed with an entire activity, if I can break it down into smaller chunks, that can also help a lot.
That is true. Thank you very much, Ajit and Shika. I just have one more question before we wrap this up. I know there are a bunch of people. I think Aditya, you can come forward because you wanted to ask earlier. But after that, I'm sorry, we're going to have to wrap it up because we're well beyond the hour mark. So I just have one question after that. So first, Aditya, come forward.
Yeah.
Hello everybody, I'll tell you. Hey Shikha, big
Hi,
fan.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. On what Arjun was saying, I agree with him. For mine, it's a personal thing, but a rule of thumb I follow is when you are at the earlier stages of a project, like storyboarding, etc. I feel like going at it is a good way, but when you are down on the execution part of it, I like to step away from it when there is a block. And clear my minds out, go out, watch some greenery, and then come back and continue to it. Okay, so I had a question actually. My question is, so we have our whatever daily project that we are working on, like 8 hours a day or whatever, and then as freelancers we have to work on our personal projects because of course we have to grow, we have to watch tutorials because we need to learn new things. We have our social media to manage, we have to find new clients, we have our social life, what all. How do you manage the anxiety in all of this? Because I feel like it's quite a bit. I still prefer this to a stable job life for reasons whatever. But still, there is quite a bit of anxiety. Is there a project? Is there a new project coming? Is it not? What is the next thing? I'm working on a personal project. That's my main thing. But then a project came in. How do you deal with the mental
Uh,
part?
with my mental health, because I suffer from anxiety a lot and also from panic attacks. Um One thing that I've learned is that I don't fight the feeling, I accept it, you know. And that is something I've learned in therapy also, that I don't fight it. I don't, um, that's one way of dealing with anxiety that you're going through. That accepting that, okay, I have so much on my plate. Like right now, I'm doing two passion projects, which is two films, and I have three projects going on. Plus, there is social media work and there is my contract work. But I've accepted the fact that there are days when I can perform well, there are days when I cannot, there are days when I'll fail, there are days when I'll go, So instead of fighting that feeling, instead of, or running away from it, I sit with it and I accept it. That, okay, this is my reality and this is how I'm
I
going to deal.
am that you are overwhelmed and it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so this exercise has helped me a lot to overcome, anxious feelings that I get on a daily basis. So, but it's not like I'm not even harsh on myself when I get anxiety, you know. Like I'm not like, okay, why am I feeling anxious? I'm not supposed to feel anxious because there's so much going on, I think one thing is that to not be harsh on yourself and to be like, it's okay, I'll figure a way out. So the second thing would be to not be harsh on yourself, and
Yeah.
these are two things that I feel, from my perspective, is how I deal with anxiety.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Shikha, for sharing that. So I just have one more question before we wrap up because it's well beyond her mark. Um, my question comes from Kruti. She had prepared earlier, so she wasn't able to attend. So I'm just asking. This is you had in your portfolio. You had mentioned reset mental health. So she had asked about what is the origin of reset mental health, and if you could talk about that.
Okay, so Reset is a company that I work for. It's a Dubai-based company, and I work with them for 8 days a month, which is 2 days a week. And Reset is a news agency where we cover news around all the topics, which is pop culture and mental health, politics and mental health, business and mental health. So anything related to mental health is what we cover, and I illustrate and animate for them. And I joined this company because at that point, my mental health was deteriorating, and I felt like, I need to have something in my work life that creates value. Because sometimes when you work on projects, not all projects create value. They are just mere projects. Either you're getting paid well or you're getting exposure, but with Reset, what I get to do is I get to ideate, I get to be a part of, support groups, I get to be a part of, to help people out with their mental health. So it's something that I do. It's been 3 years that I've been working with them. So that's what Reset is. And we are a team of 4 people. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for the insight, Shikha. Could you share the link, maybe, Instagram link or something, so we can all check it out? So I feel like this would be, it would be helpful for all of us.
Yeah, I'll just share it.
Actually, you can share it on our Slack as well. Or you can share it in our Slack, because this is going to be recorded and we'll definitely be sharing links, whatever links or any book recommendations that Arjun has recently put forward. So we'll be putting that as well in the YouTube description. So just wanted to put it out there. So, I think you can share it in our Slack at the same time, so we can have it later, because when we close this
Should I share it in?
Yeah.
Should I put it in random?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, after, later on, it's fine. Awesome. So we'll have to wind up, because we are well past the hour mark. This is one of the longest, I think, and I think this topic can go on and on, because this is a topic that all of us have been, like all of us would love to talk about. And I think we can go on and on about this, but I'm hungry, so. Thank you very much, Shikha, and thank you very much everyone who came forward and talked about this, and took part in our community to share their opinions, and share values, value resources, and everything. And and like I said, if you want anything removed, please message me or Amin or Rishabh. We'll edit that part out, and we will update when when the recording will be on YouTube. So share it with whoever missed out on this. I have a bunch of people who wanted to attend but couldn't, so I'll be sharing it with them. So once again, thank you everyone. Thank you, Shikha, for joining us. And
Vishal, just sorry to interrupt over here. Just a request to everyone. Please share your Instagram IDs on the random same chat over there in the Slack, because I want to connect with all of you.
Yes, please do that. I think we had a channel with socials. No, we didn't. Okay, just share it on randoms. I think that works.
Yeah, because I really want to connect with all of you on social media. So learn something from you guys and even have a conversations whenever you require.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good night. I'm going to cut the call.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Shikha.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.